Hey everybody, it's Abby. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you're new. Today I'm going to continue my series of basic beginner makeup techniques, and I want to talk to you about brows, which is why I have my whole face done and not my brows. It was very weird to do my makeup and skip my brows, so it'll feel complete once this video is done. So I'm going to show you two different ways. It's probably going to look a little weird at the end because there'll be two different techniques, but I'm going to show you one side using a brow pencil, on the other side using a brow pomade. So if you don't know what a brow pomade is, the most popular one is the Anastasia dipbrow. It's just a little pot thing like you would maybe find a cream eyeshadow in, but mine's very well loved. And a few different brands have these, but just Anastasia's one is the one that I like the most. I've tried, I think, one other one from NYX that was really too creamy. This one is just a little bit drier, so it doesn't go everywhere, but just try different ones, see which one you like. I especially like the pomades because they last a heck of a lot longer than pencils. I can go through a pencil in probably 3 or 4 weeks, but I've had this for years and it's still going. I mean, I've obviously used quite a chunk of it, but it's still going. It's kind of starting to get a little bit on the too dry side now, but you know, so if you're on a budget and you don't want to keep buying brow pencils, invest in a pomade. Then the pencil I'm going to be using is this one from e.l.f. Actually, it is the Ultra Precise Brow Pencil. e.l.f. has another one that's it's in the white packaging and it's a little bit fatter, but this one is pretty much the same size as like the Anastasia Brow Wiz or any of the other slim pencils like this, and this one is pretty cheap. It's like, actually I want to say it's $5. e.l.f. is climbing the prices up, but I think it's worth it for this. And what you'll want is one of these spoolie things, so if your brow pencils usually come with them, or if you don't have one, you can buy them separately. e.l.f. has one for like $1. I'm also going to be using this ColourPop Brow Boss Gel. This is the clear one. I do have the tinted one too, but it's just a clear brow gel, and a lot of brands make these also. I like the one from NYX. I just don't personally use NYX anymore. But so yeah, especially if your brow hairs are a little bit unruly, or if you don't trim them, and most of the time I trim mine, I'll just brush them down before I do my makeup, and then the ones that kind of go down underneath of the rest of them, I'll just take this tiny little pair of scissors and cut them, just so that the hairs aren't everywhere and it's a little more easy to use. But if you don't want to do that, then the brow gel is going to be your best friend. And the tools that I'm not going to show all these like in motion in the video just because it's difficult for me. So I have this little pair of scissors that I trim them with. You can also use these scissors to trim fake lashes if you want to do that. And then I have this little brow razor. Sometimes, because I'm sure as you do also, I hate plucking my eyebrows. It like makes my eyes water, it hurts, so I just shave them. Not like the whole thing, just like right underneath of where like the unwanted ones grow. And it lasts for quite a while, like a couple weeks, and then I'll have to do it again. And of course, tweezers, just in case you actually do want to pluck some, or if you have some that, I don't know, they keep growing back, and because if you pluck them, they don't grow back as fast, obviously, as if you shave them, you know. And apparently, I just found out that Tweezerman, if you're at all concerned with cruelty-free, Tweezerman is not cruelty-free, so I mean, these pairs are going to last me for a long time, so I'm not going to be too concerned with replacing them. But the kind that's like these, that have that metal pointed part, are going to be the best ones because they just grip onto the hairs easier than the cheap, like, flimsy ones. So I definitely suggest getting a pair that looks like that, and a few brands have those. And then this eyebrow comb thing, I use this when I am going to, like, comb them downwards to trim them, and even comb them upwards some and then trim the rest of them. And this is also good for if they're kind of messed up, you can brush through them. And then the last thing is this eyebrow brush. It's just a little angled brush, and this one's from Sonia Kashuk. They don't make this exact one anymore, but I'm sure they have one that's similar because they redid all their brushes. But any brush brand, like e.l.f., whoever, is going to have a brush just like this. So I'm going to do this it's my right brow. I guess it might be your left. I don't know. Camera, like whenever I film and I'm talking about right and left, I have no clue if it's actually your right or if it's your left. I don't know. But that's why I don't point to like the subscription button, because I don't know where it is. So logically, if I'm looking at a video, it's going to be down here. But if you're watching this, it's probably down here. So I don't know. But so I'm going to use the dip brow on my right brow. Just because I do my right one first, I don't know why, and if I try to do my left one first for this video, it's probably going to be a disaster. But I just dip in, get way less of this than you think that you're going to need. Just kind of tap it in a little bit. Don't dig out a bunch of product, just tap the end of the brush into it. And then, this is going to be hard to show you. So I start by drawing a line underneath of the front. And then kind of filling in the middle of the middle part. Because that's where you kind of want the most product, is in the middle, not necessarily right in by your eyeball, but and also not out at the end. You kind of want it in the middle, and then you can spread it out. Also, the problem with using the brush in the pomade is that if you have like hairs that come out, they get stuck in it, and it's annoying. You have to stop a little bit and get them out. So I'm just filling in the same direction as my brows go. I'm mostly concentrating on the bottom. And then taking it all the way over to where my brows stop. Now there are those charts that you more commonly see on like Pinterest, where it'll show you like the lines. So if you take like a pencil and go like this, that's where your brows stop. And then if you line up the pencil with like the outside of your iris, that's where your arch should be. And then if you line it up with the outside of your eye, that's where the brow should stop. Obviously, it's, you know, just a rough guide to where normally your brows would be, but do whatever. And then once I get to the top of my brows, I turn the brush from this way to this way. That way I don't accidentally blend outside of where I'm trying to go. It's always better to make them thinner at first, and you can add some later. Because whenever I add too much and I try to take it away, it doesn't look as good as if I just done it right in the first place. So I kind of go down like that. And then now I'm going to go back to the front with whatever's left on the brush and go through. And just kind of keep brushing it through so that it's even, so you don't have a whole like patches of product where there's a bunch and then where there's none. You know what, I think I could do my brows with my glasses on. Probably should do that. So let's try this. Maybe you can still see what I'm doing. So if I look down, maybe you can still see. It'll be easier for both of us because I know if I'm in frame or not. So now that the middle part, the majority of it's on, now you can go back in and do like the outside and clean it up a little bit. I mean, sometimes I leave it kind of like this, but if you want to do that like really stark Instagram kind of thing, then this is where you would complete that. And I just take the tiniest amount onto the brush and I turn it up and down to where the bristles are pointing up and down, and then I go into where the edge of my brow is and then kind of go like that. That helps me to keep this part from going too big, because sometimes I can get overboard and go make this part of it too wide and it looks kind of funny. So I will go like that and then use that as a guideline and turn it the other way and then go sideways. Hopefully that made sense. My brows, or my arch, is looking kind of sad, so I'm going to lift that up a little bit, just get a tiny bit more product. And wherever you think your arch should be, like the highest point, I just build up a little bit up this way. And it looks like I need to straighten this out. I just realized my hair is a hot mess, so ignore that. Okay, so far so good, I think. It's a little bit easier if you have lighter brows. If you have dark brows, just be careful and start very, very lightly. Okay, so this side is on. Now I'm going to show you using a clear brow gel. So this particular brow gel, it gets a lot of product built up on the actual spoolie, and I think it's too much, so I'll take it and just gently rotate it and scrape off the excess product onto the brush. I hate when mascaras do this too, but I'll just scrape it off so where there's not big globs. And then what you want to do is just start at the front and brush it slightly upwards, but don't go overboard, like toward this area. And that kind of makes sure everything is in place. And I also feel like I mean, this might be just my conspiracy, but it also helps the color to last longer. Alright, so that side is on, and now I'm going to go into the other side with the pencil. So on the pencil, I kind of do it slightly different, not drastically, but I'll start kind of in the middle like I did on the other side and just brush it upwards so that I don't just draw a straight line across and a straight line across and then color it in. That's not going to work. Trying to just stop covering the microphone, and so I'll start kind of here, drawing little lines. Some people do their whole brow drawing the little lines, and I don't have time for that, so I'll just go where my natural brows are. If you don't have that many natural brows, then I don't have that problem, so maybe I'm not the best person to give advice about that. But I think a pencil would be best at first if you don't have a lot of natural brows, and then use a pomade. I'm not sure. There's a lot of people who don't have brows that do tutorials. And then I will just go fill in the tail. And then this is a tricky part because with the brush I could turn it sideways and go like that to kind of square off the middle part, but I don't have that with the pencil, so I just kind of got to be careful. And I'll do a few like straight upward marks in the middle and then start to go out to the side. And sometimes I'll even, you see how this is a lot more stark with the pencil than it is with the side. You can fix that with the little spoolie thing. But sometimes I'll do my brows with the pomade, and then if my arch is off or if I need to fill in another place, I just go in with a pencil because it's faster. And then again with the arch, just kind of build it up like that. And then it's important to like look straight into the mirror with your head level and make sure they're even-ish. Not to be perfect. I especially recommend doing this if you wear glasses and you don't apply makeup with your glasses on, like I'm doing right now. It just helps to put your glasses on because your glasses are pretty even, so if your brows are even with your glasses, it's a little bit easier to tell. Alright, so that one, I think it's good enough for what I'm doing, and now I'm going to fix it with the little spoolie. So like I said, the middle is too stark, so I'm going to just take that and brush it upwards. And this just removes a little bit of the product and kind of blends it. Then you can brush it outwards to remove excess from the rest of it too, because I feel like pencils are kind of more, especially this one, it's a little more creamy. Some, like the Anastasia pencil, is more stiff and you don't get as much product off onto your skin. Then I'm going to go back in, just because it feels weird to have brow gel on one brow and not the other. I'm going to go back with that ColourPop brow gel. So I don't think the color of these is very far off, so that's good. I'm not going to look crazy for the rest of the videos I'm doing today. And by the way, if you're a similar skin tone, hair color to me, I'm using the e.l.f. one in taupe and also the Anastasia one in taupe. Usually, I think taupe can go from blonde to like maybe even if you have red hair, or like light brown. I know I used to use like the blonde colored brow. I feel weird talking like this. I'm like really far away. But like the blonde colored ones are too yellowy, and even though my hair is kind of it's colored, you know, brighter color, but the blonde ones are just too yellowy, and I feel like taupe is a good medium color. You can make it darker if you want to by adding more product, or you can make it a little bit lighter by adding less. So I think taupe is a good place to start if you don't have like black or dark brunette hair. But then if you have unnatural colored hair, it doesn't really matter what color your brows are. Unless you want to match them to them, then that's up to you. But so there are the brows done. If you have any questions, let me know. And let me know what you want to see other topics about. I do have a few more weeks planned of this. So I'm going to talk about eyeshadow and lashes and lipstick. I think that's it. I'm not sure what else I had planned. But yeah, so if you have any specific questions, or if I missed anything that you want me to talk about, let me know in the comments, and give this video a thumbs up if that was helpful. Subscribe so you don't miss any future videos, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.